Hello, hello everybody. Let's see if this works. Yes, we have game sounds. How are we all? No, I can't. Alright, it doesn't like me moving windows around, it gets angry. That's inconsiderate of it. Well, here we are, the Stanley Parable. It's come highly recommended from a few people lately, so I thought, you know what, I'll give this a go. I'm here with Jack as well. Jack's sitting with me while we play this, so say hello, Jack. There we are. Let's play some games. So hello and goodbye to Henry, obviously, and hello to Big Bad Toma and TC Loves Games. Thanks for stopping by. This is a very tiny window. I'm going to just try and change my screen res, so if you can sit tight for a moment. I should have done this before, but you know, I'm an idiot. Let's see if I can fit all that on the screen. Oh, that's a bit better. That's a bit better. Okay. So if I say begin the game, let's see what this is all about. How are you doing today, Big Bad Toma?
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on the keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on the desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day, every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened. This complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid. Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Okay, I've just realised I've got the sound coming out of the same place as the microphone, so I'm going to just fix this before I carry on. This is very impromptu and very professional, so... where's my settings? Is it right that I can hear the game echoing itself? Yes. Oh, there you go. You already know. I just worked it out while I was listening to it. I can't hear the echo, but obviously you will, so let's fix that now. Sorry about that, guys. It's a completely idiotic move. I thought it was just me. I thought I had two windows open. No, it was all me. So what I'll do is I'll change where the game audio comes through and make sure it's working. So Stanley Parable, come back. Nope. Okay. Change that to that. That's looking promising. This is blame Stanley. I will. I've now got no sound at all. I may just quickly restart the game to get it working right. Oh, Oh, I've got sound. I've got sound. Cool. Right. Okay. And I just need to make sure you can hear that sound now. Sorry about this. Right, if you can hear the sound, please say clickety-clack. Clickety-clack, good. Right. Okay, here we go. Stanley Parable. Hiya, Jackie. Have you changed your... Is this the regular Jackie? Have you changed your username?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Meeting room. Let's find the meeting room. It's pretty, isn't it? You did change it, not without a nightmare experience. Okay. Fair enough.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Okay. I feel like I should. I feel like I should just try and break the game and go the other way.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Alright, let's go back. Somebody can tell me how to open the door. Oh, I can't do it then. It's bad, isn't it? It's for an experiment, and now it's not doing anything. It's not doing anything else.
Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
Should have really checked what the buttons were, shouldn't I?
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Alright, I'll do it this time.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Very sarcastic.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Let it ball up inside you. Take it out passive-aggressively on other co-workers. Resent co-workers for not supporting you. Oh, this is good. This is proper PowerPointing, right down to the misalignment of the projector. Hiya, Cowhome. How you doing? Yes, it is a surprise early evening short stream, and I just fancied jumping on a number of slides on this slide. I could sit here and stand and watch this all day. The rate at which charts on the same slide depict the same information. They have obviously sat for a number of PowerPoint meetings. Rate of increase in graphs per slide. Please no more charts, I'm begging. On your boss appreciation minute worksheet, circle the top 20 things you love most about your boss. Fill out in triplicate and return to your boss appreciation specialist. Charts. If you ever find yourself in a conflict with another diligent employee like yourself, but more inclined toward conflicts unless you're the kind of person who always hates conflict, why did we hire you? Oh, Jesus. What are your dreams of the future? Alright, we're going to move on. As much as I'd love to read all these charts. Do unbelievably amazing work all the time, every day, with no exception of expectation of promotion or recognition. Don't get fired. Nice. There you go. We're done. There was a lot of brackets, wasn't there?
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Alright, see you, Big Bad Tom. Thank you for dropping by. Look, I'm enjoying this so far. I assume something's about to happen. Thanks for dropping by. Executive bathroom. It's dark here.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Anybody see this keypad there? Oh.
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing.
Oh.
He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Hello. Alright, well, catch you later, cow home. Thanks for popping by. Exercise is good. So have you ever seen this, TC?
As though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job.
Oh dear, hang on. Things are breaking. Go back to the game. Go back to the game.
Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
So, do I go to the mind control facility, or do I follow the escape? Come on, Twitch people. Tough choice. It is a tough choice. I feel like it might kill you if you escape. I'm gonna follow the narration. Follow the narration for now. Probably the wrong choice.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
We don't know what I'm meant to be escaping, that's the thing. Right now he's just wondering where everybody is. Over here then. What are they again? What a what?
monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. Lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Good game, says Gareth Adams. Hello, Gareth Adams. What have you done so far? I've turned on the telly. And now I feel I have to go over here, closer to the screens.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Apparently.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
This is... big number 5 there. I wonder. There's a 3. You can find a number 1. Oh, look, number 1. Yep. Number 2. Hello, Sam. Sam's come to join the stream, everybody. Number 3. I feel I'm doing something very pointless. Sam, says TC. Yep, there's a Sam in the room. Can't see number 4. Been outsmarted by FPS. One, two, three. Oh no, I saw that. I thought it was a button and it's just a screen. Okay, I'm going to go into the mind control facility and see if we can turn it off then. Let's do it. Let's do it. Eek. Settle down, Sam. Good boy. Mind control's idle, awaiting input.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
And now what? Is that it? Game over.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes! He had won! He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
I don't think something bad is going to happen, Toya. I think that's the end of the game. Yep, beat the game. I won. I'm so good at games. Well done, everybody. Thanks for the support there. Now, shall we start over?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
So what if we did something else? Ooh, hello, what was that? Awaiting input. So this is where I think you get to...
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Choose the path of the game. So what I'd like to do is, I guess, if we go to that...
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Hoping he might coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Because you're always kind of guided by the narration. But what if there's something else? What if there's another 4-digit number or something daft like that?
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean?
Yeah, we're gonna go
Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, so Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
That's good memory.
Incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
So, the first choice was the left and right door, then there was the staircase that went up and down. I have a feeling there's probably another code for that keypad. And there's a room we went through which had a lift that went down as well as we walked straight past. There's loads of branching things where I guess the story takes a different turn.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Here we go.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Oh?
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Uh-oh. I don't like this either. Yep, we died. Oh, oh.
As the machine whirred into motion and When Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
I'm hiding.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Oh. What?
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
The blueprint shows the office from the beginning of the game. The path from Stanley's office to the two doors was the first part of the game that was built. Sections have been added to and altered throughout developing, though the core layout remains almost identical to the first iterations. This is the two doors. The pacing of this opening section was important to get right. This corridor has been moved and altered to make sure the player reaches the two doors a good time. I'm inside the outside of the game. It is office heaven, says Toya. Maybe. The set of two open doors was the very first concrete piece of the Stanley Parable's design. Once this room was created, the rest of the game emerged as an extension of it, an exploration of the contradiction this room posed. And that's kind of what it's been so far, isn't it? Filing cabinets. Yep, they are filing cabinets. This is nature paintings. Windows XP. Stanley's computer. Can I use it? So, it's all weird. Oh, button sounds. A selection of sounds used throughout the game when buttons are pressed. Each sound is a mix of keyboard stroke and a synthesized tone. Yes, Jack? What's wrong?
It's weird.
It's weird. What? Hang on a moment, guys. After speaking with Captain Teak, you learned that the thieves are hiding out in Carusa Valley, but the hideout itself has not been scouted. So you need to find that place.
I am. I've already at it there.
Yeah.
I've already said don't talk with nothing.
So we've got Zelda talk going. This area may hint at some paths you haven't taken yet if you're anti-spoiler. Game credits, nice. Kind of making a big sign that says escape and office computer. There you go. That's the important. Oh, turned it off. Oops. Okay, I'll help you with it in a minute then, Jay.
This is right on the edge of the wall.
Maintenance room, an early version of the maintenance room. That's the lift we walked past, yeah? 431 to 436. Photocopier. I have a photocopier. Can I sit on it? No. Guess that's fair. You can't be spoiled by things that are in the game too. No, you're right. I think it's... These are screenshots of the Stanley Parable HD remix and yada yada yada. Lots of signs. This is a wall. Oh, hello. In line with our previous announcement regarding an ongoing promotion, here is the result in There's a skeleton inside of you. There are more skeletons in this world than humans. Thanks and goodbye. That's a very good point. Narrator emails. It's just a selection of emails that people say, "Are you gay?" I guess they've chose the best ones. The lounge. Early version of the lounge. Why am I here? The apartment timer. This is... In a previous version of the choice leading to the apartment ending, the timer will give you 15 seconds to pick up the phone. Not picking up the phone would lead to a different ending. I guess that didn't happen. Cargo lift. Is that what we did? I don't know. Okay. This is so weird. Maintenance layout. Obey, disobey lounge. There's a vent. I suppose we should actually try and work out where to go. What a peculiar game. Monitor room elevator, we did that, yep. Countdown room, early version of the countdown room. So there's lots to do then. It's kind of showing me little glimpses of what I'm about to do. This would wind you up. Why would it wind you up, Sawyer? Let's go and do another choice.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen.
Guess you need more direction.
But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let time...
Should I don't know. I've got two... Oh. Splat. Two conflicting narratives.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of two open, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow, yes, this room. What a beautiful room. What a gorgeous, gorgeous room. Thank goodness Stanley had taken this detour on his way to the meeting room. Life without having experienced, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
These are blueprints, and I guess this is the maintenance room we saw then. Oh, it is a cargo lift, okay. That's if you use the lift. 1000. Do not jump from the cargo lift while in motion.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance.
He doesn't like us doing the opposite, does he? I love this sign. Danger. Danger everywhere. Warning, do not stand on this side of the fence. Brilliant.
Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Okay, guys. Which door? Blue. Oh, you are such. You guys are such rebels.
Perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door. All right, fine. Go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what. Let me take a stab in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin.
Let's do the third door.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here.
Please rate your game experience. Right, you want to give him a 3? Okay, here we go then.
Oh, of course. A 3. Really? Maybe next time we can get you to form an actual opinion, you know? Any level of critical thinking or engagement with your surroundings. Does that sound good? Think we can do that? Yes? Wonderful.
He's not happy with
Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
Worldwide leaderboard. I love the thought that that is real statistics. Only the worst 3% of players chose the blue door. Oh, nice.
Did it say that?
Some friends to help. Error fields are empty. You are ranked 9,328 out of 9,328 players worldwide. Okay, let's go through the... Oh, it's red now.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please.
Come on, guys. What do we feel about a leaderboard?
Sorry.
2. We're not approving of the leaderboard.
Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some play testing. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up.
What?
In this game, baby crawls left towards danger.
Dad,
You
press
click
that
the button to
button
move
and
him
see
back
what
to the
happens
right,
to the
and if he
baby.
reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience.
Eventually we'll have to stop.
Let the baby go on the fire.
This is a good metaphor.
Daddy, I'm gonna watch it and see what happens.
You're mean, Jack.
You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the
got
latter, I
burned.
don't know what to do. I'm completely
Where's
out
it
of
coming
ideas.
back up?
I can't
Wait,
think
'cause
of
it
a
went
single
down like
thing
that.
that might improve the experience for me.
Oh, it's
I'm not
still
even going to
wet.
try. I'm out. I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game, just to ease the pain? Let's see. What do we have here? Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
Yes, you heartless badger, it should have said. Quite right, Toya. Luckily I've got the...
Well, Stanley, is this any better?
You and
At last, the
Minecraft.
one thing you've always desired.
Dad,
A
why
game
are you
I had
Minecraft?
absolutely nothing to do with. But
It's
is it
still
enough?
the same game,
Tell me
but
that,
why are
Stanley.
you in Minecraft?
Will it ever be enough?
Don't you know how
Well,
to
I'll say
jump in
this. I'm
Minecraft?
done making things for you.
Just listen
From
to
now
me,
on,
Tom.
I will only create to fulfill a greater artistic purpose. Watch this, Stanley. I'm going to build a house.
Gonna build a house.
This will go here. No,
Oh.
here. And then... Let's see, what does it need? Yes, of course. And just to finish it all off, yes, it's complete. I made this, Stanley. Look at it. Gaze upon my work of art and feel ashamed at your own inadequacy. Ah, but you've only seen it from the outside. You've only gotten half the experience. Please, step inside and make yourself comfortable. Isn't it grand? Isn't it perfect? It could only be better if... Wait, that's it. We must rebuild it out of diamond. Diamond everything. Yes, yes, yes. Come along, Stanley. We have to go mining.
Oh, this is surreal. Oh god, it's got the music and everything.
Oh my, it looks like it's going to get a bit dark. Have you brought a light?
Nope.
Oh, no. This is far more open-ended than I had in mind. I'm looking for something more narrow and linear. Something that makes you feel utterly irrelevant. This won't do at all. 1 out of 5. Even the diamonds couldn't save this one. Okay, new game.
I think Minecraft's finished now.
Yes! I don't even know what this game is, but I love it. You, trapped in a glass box with no way out, listening to me talk. Oh, it's inspired. I couldn't have done it any better myself. What is this game even supposed to be? I can't figure it out. Okay, now I'm curious. Let's go find out what the hell this is.
Portal.
Oh, it's a puzzle. Critical thinking, Stanley. Your forte. Genius.
I think you should say I
Good
never
sarcasm.
signed
You know
up
what?
to
I think
what.
that's plenty. I really
Hey,
don't care much
enjoying
to see
that.
you stumble through any more of these games, and I highly doubt you're...
Dad, you're in a new game now. I haven't
He
seen
didn't like
this.
that, did he? I cut him off. Right, 5.
Is this escape room?
Yeah, it's kind of an escape room, I suppose. Please rate your experience of Stanley Parable. I've just fallen off.
Is anybody watching, Dad?
Yeah, there's a few people watching. I'm being very confused, as am I. I have no idea what we've let ourselves in for now. Hi Jack, says Toya.
Hello. Oh, there's another door, Toya. And another room. But there's a bigger door and white. So it looks like another game.
Who knows what's going to happen next, is it? How far does the rabbit hole go?
Oh no, it's not another game.
Can't see what that says. So many doors. So many corridors. Oh, hello. I can't see. Nope.
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it, down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice, and if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
It might be a bit out of place.
I guess I've got to restart the game again. Nope, nope.
Dad, it's saving automatically. What is this?
And here we are again.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a
I
memo.
feel that this game will branch in so many different directions at so many different points. Like if you gave him a
Stanley
different
came
store,
to a set of 2 open doors. This was not the correct
would
way
that
to
have
the meeting
changed what
room,
would
and
happen?
Stanley
We
knew
would
it
have ended up
perfectly
in
well.
Minecraft.
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was sublime, a work of art. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think
go.
perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here.
I want to
I'm
do
not your
the
enemy, really,
other
I'm
door this
not.
time. Shall
I
we do it?
realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult.
Let's do the other
but
door
the
this
fact
time,
is
see
that
what
the
happens.
story
And then
has
I'll
been about
see what
nothing but
happens when we
you
go up to the top of the
all
ring.
this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
I'm gonna...
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door.
Yep,
I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red... Oh, thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's
going in a circle?
I wanted to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you.
Hey, Calhoun. A solution. It's very interesting. Very confusing. Very funny. It's been quite funny. Toya got cross that there's Minecraft in it.
What do we want? What are we looking for? Here. Yes. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? If we just stay right here, right in this moment with this place, Stanley, I think I feel happy. I actually feel happy.
Godlike blue lights make me nervous.
No, wait. Where are you going?
I'm sorry.
Right. Where were we?
Oh, and new blocks now. Oh, helping magic.
Oh no. Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this.
Let's go for it.
Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me.
Ooh. Well, if this isn't a metaphor, I don't know what is.
Please, Stanley, think about what you're doing. No! Oh, thank God you lived. You had me worried there for a moment. Now, can we please get back to the other room? No. No, what are you doing, Stanley? Please, I'm asking you not to take this away from me. I can't go back to what I was before. If you die, we'll both go back. Why are you doing this? Stanley, let's go back to the other room. Can you do that for me? Yes, perhaps you can. Perhaps you finally see what I'm talking about. I know you'll see that we can't be happy if we leave this place. You can see that, can't you?
There's one other place to go, isn't there? I can't walk off the edge. It was Tash's pick for the Hall of Game, and...
No, perhaps not.
Ellie did say it was a really tough decision when she chose...
Is this really how much you dislike my game? That you'll throw yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it? You were literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy. Am I reading the situation correctly? Or maybe you're just getting a kick out of it. I don't know anymore. I just wanted us to get along. But I guess that was too much to ask. It looks like you wanted to make a choice after all. Well, this one is yours. Is it over? It's going to restart, isn't it? I'm going back.
bizarre.
How wonderful. Stanley was alone. Finally. This is great, he thought to himself. This is what I've wanted all along. I got what I wanted. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Is there a way to win this game?
Standing now in this incredible room, Stanley for the first, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life. She's been waiting. That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this, to reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
Pick up the phone and...
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Gotcha. Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here. This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley. Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence. Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life.
Oops.
But in his mind, in his mind he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
Press I to watch TV. So press J again. It's not.
And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly.
Please press T to spend time with the boys.
So he went further. He imagined that he came to 2 open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice.
That's what we did.
It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold. As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions, and down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable. It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time.
Is this, you're the rat in the race, the cannon fodder in the wall, and you had a mental breakdown to escape the rat race? Are you trying to break out of your mind? This is it, isn't it? The narrator's kind of goading you by telling you that's
But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one.
Press Y to go to sleep.
And I'm trying to tell him that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
Please press Y to be at work in the morning. All right. So should I press the button or not? Well, if I don't press it, it's going to time out, isn't it? This is so weird. You know, the weirdest part of it is... Yeah, I'm pressing buttons. You feel like the game is second-guessing you.
You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
Press key to question nothing. Is there another button? Is there another button?
I suppose I can't. Not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button.
Please die.
And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I
Oh, this is dark. This is so dark. Here we are again. Back where we just finished.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Hello, Jenna J. How are you? You very quiet? Have you just popped in, or you been lurking, or? Well, yeah, we're trying to work out what to do. I am going to go down that lift.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Who moved my desk? Fire paper guy. Throw something in the ideas bin. 1. No more bins. Renaming of idea 1. Fixing of me. Hello. Better safe than profit.
Why can't I save
Business
that?
club.
Don't say I can't save that.
You can't when you're inside that bridge. Right.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Alright, let's do this. Let's do what we did before. Now I'm going to go to the end of the game and I'm going to turn on the mind control device.
The moment he entered his manager's office, Stanley froze in his tracks. Not a living soul anywhere. Could he... Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music. Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
New Age music was not calm, quite right. That was quite funny. Jack, let's go around here.
Oh.
It's almost exactly what you're listening to on Spotify right now.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door
So,
that read Mind Control Facility.
that's a joke, isn't there? What does New Age music sound like played backwards? New Age music.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself.
We've had a
Did he have the strength to
Maybe
find
you've
out?
been in the Stanley Parable. Maybe you are Stanley, Jackie, and you don't know it. I thought we went past a lift or something, but obviously it must have been...
Now the
around
monitors
that.
jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Maybe that's what we'll end up doing.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
3. I don't know if pressing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on these will do anything, but I feel like it's a thing. I bet it does nothing. Let's find number 5. There's number 5. Yep, all that did. F4. Oh dear, Stanley. It's quite funky, isn't it? Alright, let's go to the faculty power then. I really felt like that was going to do something then, but it's just buttons we saw at the epilogue of the game.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for. Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say, 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated?
I don't understand what's going on.
All right, I'm in a good mood. You're going to die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count. Or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say, happily ever after.
Here we are again. Right.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could
I
it mean?
think that
Stanley decided to go to the meeting
there
room.
to
Perhaps
mess
he
with
had
you,
simply
but
missed a memo.
You could not press the right button or the right colour or anything else.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Stanley felt lightheaded, butterflies in his stomach. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
There is no win. Well, technically
And
there
so
is a
he
win, isn't there?
detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
This way we haven't been. The win was what we did at the very start of the game. We went to the end, we turned it off.
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's, left.
So, is this it? Is it saying...
Oh, no, it's to the right, my mistake. No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please?
It's a hard game.
Now, let's see. We went down right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
There's a car in it. Can't go that way then. Achievement unlocked, you can't jump. Just tried to jump.
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to, oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay, from the top.
Oh, God.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Any thoughts? DC Rage!
When Stanley...
Huh.
Wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear, I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be...
God, this is messing with
Oh,
me.
did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere, or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
Okay. Any thoughts on which way you want me to go? This is now very different to how we started. Every time you think you've got it sussed, it's toying with you. It's totally messing with you. In a guild, everyone knows what you did. They're just holding back to let you torture yourself. Oh, isn't that lovely?
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
No, he's messing with me so much.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
You're the reason we're here. You're the reason that Toya's raging.
Okay, yeah, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything? Aha! I knew we'd missed something. The story. Here it comes.
Mr. Story.
No, wait. Never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
What the...
Now this... Well, I'll be honest. I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations! Yay! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job.
You sarcastic so-and-so.
No, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay? I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart.
I don't know who the narrator is.
I don't see you even if you look up. I mean, like stand up.
All right, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
This is... no, because... oh, I want to go straight forward now. Go on, I'm going to follow the line. I'm going to allow it. Although I want to play solitaire first. Let me play solitaire. No. Okay. The best music's coming. I just want to say before we move on, I don't know if you, because you were there on Tuesday, weren't you? And I did. Ellie was asking how much more the Hall of Games got, and I said we were doing a couple more weeks, and she said she really had trouble choosing between Stanley Parable and Portal because she loves them both so much. And I said I hadn't played it, and she said it was just such a funny game. She really loves it.
The line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Okay, Stanley, I need to follow this train of thought for a minute. Just stick with me. Now, we can both agree that the nature of existence is in fact a byproduct of one's subjective experience of that existence, right? Okay. Now, if my experience of your existence rests inside of your subjective experience of this office, is this office, in fact, the skeleton of my own relative experiential mental subjective construct? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize.
9,
Not sure where I was going with all that.
7.
You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood. Cut the music, go back and look at that fern. Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the story. Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything.
It's a fern. Okay.
Wait, what? We're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell?
Back here.
No, not again. Line, how could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
I really thought we were gonna... It's not even talking now.
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
Which direction? Didn't say any direction, did I? This direction, but yeah, I wasn't actually looking at that door when you opened it.
Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination.
Here we go.
Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it. Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge
Veto the
it.
line.
We should be fine.
Okay, done.
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't
Back to the
squander
weird
the
hat.
opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere at the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits.
Okay.
Oh, hold up, what's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget?
No.
Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this?
16
Is it really?
minutes.
No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this.
Yeah,
I won't
noticed that we're
restart
actually
the game.
going
I
on.
won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped? Does that mean,
Oh,
did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story. Wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime...
oh God. It's told me it's gonna restart.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a
Right
memo.
on cue, the narrator's forgotten about the previous endings.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I should just follow it this time? I'm so confused. It has appropriately titled that.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief,
it's just...
Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
No, I didn't, mate. I did not walk upstairs. I walked downstairs. Found a red light.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay. Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
Oh, my word.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
My.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Is there a point where you exhaust all of the branching stories, Tash?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Oh, I don't know.
Dad, you went through that one before.
I've been through both of them before, Jack. I'll just... There's 17 endings. Oh. But the right door is always the right door. This is the right door.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Mess something else up.
The lounge was grand, majestic, perhaps too majestic, like a combination of a much smaller version and a much larger version of this exact room. It all made Stanley uncomfortable, and he started to bleed a little. This made him smile.
What?
At last, proof that he was human. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Dad.
Shall I carry on going through, or shall I go down the lift, guys? What do you think? One last ending.
Dad.
Yes, Frank.
I was going to tell you to go through that door earlier, but you went right past it.
Don't worry, we've been through this door.
We've been through every door.
Yes, I'm doing it. Let's do it. We're going down, Jenna.
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go,
It's just restarting the confusion ending now,
From
isn't it?
here, it's, left.
Yeah,
Oh, no. No, it's to the right. My mistake. No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh, dear. Would you hold on for a minute, please? Now, let's see. We went down right, left, down, left, right. Yep. Okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
It says, oh,
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes.
Ending, which takes a quarter of an hour itself.
Okay. We just have to get back to... Oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay, from the top.
What an extraordinary game.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
It's going to... I imagine there's more endings.
Wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear, I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be...
good.
Oh, did something change?
Stanley,
did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
Purposely, I'm going to just keep going right. Keep hugging the wall to the right and see what happens.
I'll say it.
Nope, we're back
this is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
The end is never the end is never the end.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
I keep wanting to jump out the window now, Tom. Climb on the desk on the first room and out the window. Alright, okay. I'm gonna restart, begin the game again. There we are.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
I think you're teasing me, Tash. Round the other side.
When Stanley came to a set...
Okay. Everybody, Tash is now the narrator. Right. No windows in this. So this room, yeah? This first room.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Right, so there. Climb on the desk on the first room out window. Round the other side, upper box. There is no box. There's this box, but it's a filing cabinet. Oh, hello. Nope. Got excited then. Tash is playing games with me. Tash is playing games with me. I'm stepping on the chair. I can't step on anything except low down boxes. Stanley has very bad joints.
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
A chair that's away from the desk. Right, okay. Nope. Mocking us. You're mocking us. It can be done. It can't be done. I'm doing it. Look, there's no buttons except forward, backwards, left, and right, and a push button or a crouch button. I can do crouch and I can't do jump. That is a shocking state of that unit, isn't it? Looks like there are footmarks on that desk. And that's footmarks. It's just a rough desk. It's just battered, yeah. Alright, look, we'll find one more ending. And then we'll call it quits, I think.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I'm just going to do the escape again and see, because I remember the woman saying I should quit the game rather than get crushed, didn't she? I can't remember if that was...
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Close your door to the office at the start of the game.
No, not again. I won't be part of this. I'm not going to encourage you. I'm not going to say anything at all. I'm just going to be patient and wait for you to finish whatever it is you enjoy doing so much in this room. Please take your time.
It knows. It knew I was here before from long ago, so it's keeping track of what I'm doing. Then it says try closing the door in your office at the beginning. Okay. Alright, we'll do that.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Oh, I've got to go forward. No, you know what? Let's try it.
But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure. What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never been trained for that. No. This couldn't go any way except badly. The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself, is to wait. Nothing will hurt me. Nothing will break me. In here I can be happy forever. I will be happy. Stanley waited. Hours passed, then days. Had years gone by? He no longer had the ability to tell. But the one thing he knew for sure, beyond any doubt, was that if he waited long enough, the answers would come. Eventually, someday, they would arrive. Soon, very soon now, this will end. He will be spoken to. He will be told what to do. Now it's just a little bit closer. Now it's even closer. Here it comes.
Here it comes. Oh. Wonderful. What a tease. Oh, okay, well, thanks for hopping by my Saturday streamings.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Okay. You can
No
record
matter how
yourself
hard
doing the
Stanley
window
looked,
ending this.
he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Thanks for, why are you getting so cross? I'm the one playing it. This is a wonderful game, though. I want to probably find a list somewhere and see exactly what I need to. Get on top of the desk on the left of the square computer. 434. All right, look. People give me instructions now. 432, 433, 434. I cannot get on this desk. It's possible I'm walking up the chair. Look. Oh.
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
How do I... This is possible. Walking up to the chair and continuing on top of it. You then crouch and leave through the window. Oh, God. I cannot... Oh.
I can see you out of the window.
At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map, until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along.
Proper
He then
Steve.
praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be? Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in? Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet? Ah, then in that case, we'll continue. But now, here comes the real question. What do you think would have happened if you had told me that you wanted this to stop? Do you think it would have been particularly different? Would I have taken the same idea but rephrased it superficially to fit that answer? Perhaps you never would even have thought of it if I hadn't brought up the issue in the first place. Oh, now think about it. Will it be worth it for you to restart and then come back here just to do the other option? Clearly, this whole gag takes some time. What if the other option is even longer? How long will you spend in total just to have heard all the narration? Oh, and this is rich. Perhaps you've just played the other option, and now you've come to see what happens in this one. So, what do you think? Which choice was the better one? Imagine if you had selected continue on your first playthrough, how tantalizing it would be not knowing what happens when you pick the other option. Indeed, you are one of the lucky ones. Though if the other option is really miserable to listen to, then perhaps you're not. In fact, I'm just going to say that no one who's listening to this is lucky. Well, now, I've built up the other option so much that I'm going to stop talking and leave you to your decision whether to come back here, continue with the game, or just sit in this spot forever and ever.
Yeah, we don't know what the game
Cheers.
is. Thank you, narrator. Yes, it's got a song. Right, well, I've got to put my son to bed, I'm afraid, so we will come back for the song. But thank you, everybody, for coming by, sticking about. Thank you for the bits earlier. I feel like the richest man alive, just like in It's a Wonderful Life. Dash, post a link to the song. No, thank you. It's been fun. It's nice actually. It's like having this weird experience with other people, and this game is definitely a weird experience. I look forward to seeing what else it offers. But for now, it's children's bedtime and other things. So
Ba-ding, ba-ding!
Cheer 100 for leaderboard symmetry. Thank you, Cowhome. That's what is the leaderboard now? Oh dear, I can't even see it. I don't know. I'll have a look in a minute. You nutter, you nutter. Thank you so much. Been a great couple of streams this last couple of days, guys. Thank you. I'm glad I managed to catch up after missing Tuesday as well. And what a great game. So thank you, Tash, for putting me onto this one. And thank you, Stanley Parable people, for knocking it down to £2.50. Everyone's on 100. Night Night Small Reeds. There's only one going to bed at the moment. The daughter's on a pyjama party and the big son's at his girlfriend's, but they're coming home soon, so I'm starting the bed one now. Is why the other little one is on a little bit of a late night. What a great story that was. All about our bedtimes. Bedtimes are fun times. I'm not going to do a raid because I can't be bothered to load up Firefox again, but thanks so much for coming by, everyone. Go and do some stream watching, and I will see you very soon. Bye-bye. How to use Switchover. You press that button.